Brad Taste in Music is back. Someone who I didn't think we'd be talking about for a while, considering that he was in and out of rehab for a while due to like mental health struggles and everything. But his entire channel for the past couple of years has just been drowned in like controversy, and due to him being unable to take criticism from his fans. If you're already caught up with all the Brad drama, you can skip past this part. We're going to talk about his new video towards the end part of this video. But if you don't know who Brad Taste in Music is, or if you want to know why this video is so important and why it's kind of weird that he even admitted to the things he admitted to in this video, Brad Taste in Music is a music reviewer YouTuber similar to Anthony Fantano. Except he had a little bit more of like a personality, I would say, because Anthony Fantano was kind of more of just like a stoic critic, cut and dry, rather than like his personality describing the music. But Brad Taste in Music, he got big because he would react to the music as it played, allowing him to give like his more honest opinion and real opinion at the time. Then he would eventually turn that into live streaming where, you know, chat could interact with him and he would actually be able to take their criticisms of the music or, you know, talk with them about what his opinions were on the songs and eventually be able to make a whole bunch of money off of it. The first major drama that Brad got in was a post that he made with a picture of H3H3, and pro-Palestinian fans of Brad saw this post as kind of like a dog whistle to like his opinion on the whole matter, getting really upset with him, telling him to take down the post, telling him he was actually a genocidal maniac, and that, you know, showing support for Ethan and Eli means he also supports genocide. And posting a picture with someone or following someone doesn't mean that you endorse them 100%, but eventually the criticism got to Brad and he actually had to end up taking the photo down, explaining that, you know, he was in solidarity with Palestine and everything. He was struggling a lot with the criticism from this picture, which is a common theme, again, like I said, that we'll see over and over again with Brad. I think he should just go back to being a normal person. I think that's just what's best for him. A pretty early character in Brad's career was Rose Mullet.
Can't make this shit up.
Or Rose Mullet. I don't really know. I don't really care. Who had some interesting tweets that people dug up, and now these weren't just some like offensive jokes or anything. These were tweets defending rapes and zoophilia. It's really fucking bad. She and Brad have both stated that she is mentally ill. Being mentally ill doesn't just give you a pass to tweet whatever the fuck you want in regards to people fucking animals and raping people. But then he did a complete 180, explaining that he didn't understand the nature of her posts previously, despite being friends with her during the time, and more likely than not actually seeing the posts. So it's not hard to decipher why people were upset with her. Even though he did a complete 180 and denounced her online, he did defend her in private, which is something that Rose Mullet does criticize him for a lot, is his outwardly opinions for the public versus how he actually feels on the inside and what he talks about in private.
What he believes privately is often very different from what he believes publicly, and he's even said in the past, the only real difference between me and him is that I say what I believe openly, whereas he is much more careful about his public image.
And the accusations of him stealing from a former editor of his, according to them, Brad hired them to edit a video for them, even going as far to say that I'll buy you any editing software you need to actually get this job done. And then after they bought the software, which Brad did a chargeback or refund on whatever he bought them, leaving them $411 in debt, which they posted online after not actually getting a response from Brad himself for over, I think it was like 24 hours or something. And his reasoning as to why he did the chargeback or any of this drama even happened and why he didn't respond in a timely manner was because he's disabled. His tweet saying, "I have trouble with vision and poor reading comprehension, and my partner broke her glasses and currently struggling to see. This is the image I looked at to see if there was an issue. This is how it looked on my phone. I immediately noticed the recent refund and addressed it." And in Brad's live streams, he would actually take recommendations from chat, from donations on what to react to next, just feeding him things to react to on stream, making the stream longer and more entertaining. But more recently, he made a post saying that he would no longer be allowing that and be turning off chat. And if you wanted him to react to anything, you would have to give him $400.
What's going to happen now is there's going to be a lot less chat interaction, but I love music. I just really hate that I am like super mentally ill and anyone has access to the ability to talk to me. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask help from you guys. Financial help, like actual financial help right now. You can add super request things to the bottom. I can also link my PayPal right now.
As well as, despite flexing how much he made in the past from just live streaming all day reacting to music, he stated that he was in need of $10K for moving expenses.
I need enough money to support my family, and basically I need enough money to last about a month. So in total, maybe about 10 grand with my family and moving and closing off leases. Yeah. Like that's like,
why the fuck would it cost $10,000 for you to move? I just like, what U-Haul are you renting? When people criticized him for this and said, "Hey dude, we're worried about you, you know, it seems like you're spiraling a little bit," he just made a video telling everyone to get lost and fuck you. I don't like any of you. If you have any problems with me, you can leave a comment here and I'll fucking block you.
If you're one of the people who is stopping me from doing this and also telling me that it's for my own good, fuck you. Fuck you. If you're a subscriber, unsubscribe, leave a comment, and I'll happily hide you from the channel. Genuinely, you guys are some of the worst fucking people I've ever met, and I'm glad that I'm going to stop making friends on the internet.
So that's pretty interesting. So after all that, Brad actually decides to go check himself into rehab, and I believe this is his like second time actually trying to go to rehab. The first time he kind of checked out after for one day. This time he actually seemed like he was successful in doing so, but he was in rehab, so he wasn't really able to post anything or talk to anybody at all. I mean, most rehabs don't allow you to use your phone, at least for a certain amount of time, to actually allow you to fully immerse yourself in the rehabilitation experience and stop doing the drug that you're addicted to.
Here, letting you know that I am going to rehab. Yep. About 2 months. It's intensive outpatient care. And I'm not going to be uploading. And if I am going to be uploading, it's going to be something, you know, either super familiar or maybe something completely different with DJing.
During this time, Rose spent a while trying to shop this video around to a whole bunch of creators, DMing Turkey Tom, Chud Logic, a whole bunch of people. All these commentary and drama YouTubers trying to sell her a tell-all expose on Brad taste in music, fully completed, edited, and had a thumbnail made for it to all these other creators, pretty much begging them to buy it from her so that they could have a story on this entire situation. Now, despite making this entire video, again, while Brad was in rehab, essentially leaving him unable to respond to any of these accusations, again, fully edited with a thumbnail and all, completely flipped when this video came out after she uploaded it and someone downloaded it and re-uploaded it after she deleted it, saying that, you know, it's terrible that you're trying to re-upload this video because it's going to make Brad kill himself. It's weird. Why would you make a video if it's going to make your friend kill himself? It doesn't matter at all the fact that, you know, you deleted it or anything. You said that this got 200 views before being unlisted, and you tried shopping it around to creators, so I really don't think you care about Brad all that much. She opens the video explaining that he was arrested for domestic violence, and behind closed doors he says the dreaded R slur, which for those of you who don't know is retarded.
Brad Taste in Music got arrested over a confrontation he had with Tina. The reason he told me this is because he said to me while laughing that no one would believe me. The problem is that he didn't account for the fact that this is all public record and I was easily able to find evidence of this occurring. That's not all that I have, but before we proceed, I need to give you some context. So if you're wondering what Vine is, it allows survivors, victims of crime, and other concerned citizens to access timely and reliable information about offenders or criminal cases in US jails and prisons.
And all of these like personal relationship posts of Brad talking about his relationship with Tina, his ex-fiance or ex-girlfriend, I believe.
A tweet that Tina made, he said it was lame and she has no respect for him. They unfollowed each other, but they want to keep all of this private and just pretend like they're still on good terms. No, they're not on good terms. I had a call with Brad, and he was saying some very negative stuff about Tina. When Brad made that video saying that he needed 10K, he made that video
explaining why she moved to Michigan and why she went with Hivemind, which if you don't know who Hivemind is, he'll talk about it again later. But Hivemind is essentially just like a music collective. They have like 400,000 subscribers on YouTube, and previously they had been associated with Brad, and Brad had been, you know, really close with them. They were like his only friends. That's who Hivemind was for a long time. Then she plays a little voice memo that Brad sent to her on Discord. She explains that the voice memo is him explaining that he went to go meet up with his friend, and in her own words, with a friend who is a sex offender. But the voice memo, if you actually listen to it, is trying to run defense for her and actually sweep for Rose, explaining that, hey, I've had friends in the past that, you know, turned out to be terrible people, so you're not the worst person that I've ever had to actually be a friend to or the worst person that I've associated with. He explains that after he went to go hang out with this guy, he later then found out that he was a sex offender who is possibly facing life in prison.
What's up, Rose? I don't think you needed to do anything different. Rose, you are someone who is self-aware about their own actions and the consequences of which those actions brought. As far as I'm concerned, you're not crazy, you're not horrible, and if it means anything, one of the people I came home to and met, the dude is now a registered sex offender who faced life in prison. And my other friend got in a drunk driving accident and was under house arrest and just got his ankle monitor off. So if you think you have it rough, the people I know in real life are far more dangerous than you can ever be.
So he didn't go hang out with his friend who's a sex offender. He went to go hang out with his friend who then later turned out to be a sex offender. It's kind of just a really weird lie, especially with the way she tries to like hype it up and everything, despite her proving herself wrong 3 seconds later. It's just really fucking odd.
Brad really told everybody that he was going offline, and the first thing he fucking does is goes and meets up with his old buddy who's a registered sex offender. You can't make this shit up!
Again, especially for someone who's complaining that this video is going to make Brad kill himself if anyone releases it. Again, despite you wanting to shop this around and make Turkey Tom and Chud Logic talk about the video, but whatever. And then she says this.
And to all of you who said, oh, Rose doesn't have anything, do you still think that now? Do you? Do you really? And the people are mad at fucking me They're mad at me.
Just because you're not a sex offender doesn't mean you're not weird and not deserving of criticism. This is like asking why you're going to jail for robbery, even though there's people out there who murder people. Your crimes are still there. It doesn't matter if someone's done worse. Like, it literally just doesn't make any sense. And again, her voice is just so fucking aggravating to listen to.
Now, Brad is in rehab right now, so he is not watching this video. He is not watching your response videos.
So you know that he's in rehab, and you're making this video knowing he can't defend himself, and you're completely okay with that. That's interesting. She also says that when he got to rehab, quote, they got to him and said that they shouldn't talk anymore.
Like days before, we were having conversations, we were playing chess, things were going great. And then as soon as he checks into rehab, it's like those people got to him. They started whispering in his ear, like, Rose Millet's bad news, you gotta drop her. And he's trying to, like, let me down slowly because I know too much.
Give this person a firearm right now. Again, despite this, she's also his biggest A-logger. She makes this entire compilation of hypocrisies that Brad has had, kind of like a gotcha bit, lining up, Rose versus Brad taste in music on things that they've lied about.
Just let this whole YouTube thing just completely consume me. I've not been really giving time to the things that are important, like, college.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 8 times, am I a idiot? I must be an idiot.
So what's funny is with Rose, I know I did a video with her at some point. Controversial stuff happened, it ended up getting taken down. But I feel like just looking at how she's kind of interacted with me.
As Brad keeps growing his channel, I can imagine that over time, people will start feeling the same way about him that they felt before about ARTV.
It absolutely matters, sub count.
Oh, that chick, don't worry about that. But that's a lot of drama. Literally none of it matters.
And it's just like, why? So you've been recording your friends since the early days of you actually becoming friends, just for at some point in the future, if he ever turns on you, to make a whole compilation about how he's a piece of shit. Okay. Now again, despite all of this evidence she has against Brad with all these screenshots and everything and all this A-logging, she says with no proof whatsoever that Brad actually said that it was okay that she released all of this information.
And by the way, Brad said to me that he was okay with telling me this, knowing that this might get out eventually. I tried being nice to him.
Which again is really odd because he's in rehab. How the fuck would you know that? Like, that's crazy. This is where you would want to be if you actually know all the previous drama and everything. Anyway, it's about 2 days ago, Brad Taste of Music uploaded a new video titled SI, which he then deleted. He says that the reason he's making the video in the first place is kind of just to explain what happened over the past couple months.
So basically, I'm here making this video really for the reason that I want to get certain information across to people who care.
And then he talks about the H3 drama and everything and the backlash that he got from it and how that kind of started the entire cataclysm to his entire, brand failing.
All right, let's start from the beginning of where things went wrong. I went to a show. It was a live show in California. It was Ethan Klein and Hila Klein performing. I had backstage passes. I met them. I talked with them. I related a lot to them, especially Hila, with her struggles with being Jewish right now. And how it's, how do I say this? See, it's even now, I don't want to fucking talk about it. I really don't,
Why the fuck would you bring it up then? This video is so fucking confusing. Okay, you don't want to talk about this and you'd rather not make this video. I have a perfect idea. Just don't. No one forced you to make this video.
I post a picture that I have with me, some friends, my fiance, Ethan and Hila Klein. And basically, I was like, yeah, I could post that. It's great. I didn't think it'd be a statement. It was really stupid of me because of course it's a statement. It's Ethan and Hila Klein.
He's tweaking the fuck out right now. He genuinely looks high as shit. It is really concerning, especially for someone who's trying to record an explanation video as to where he's been due to him having psychosis and being on drugs. I don't know.
And then everyone called me a pussy, which to be fair, I kind of was, but also at the same time, I thought that my choice was understandable. I had a family to take care of, I didn't want this to become my life. The problem is, it wasn't that easy to get out.
Literally living your life confined by the restrictions that random people on the internet, whether you agree with them or not, are putting on you. It's just don't care. You could turn comments off. Just make your music reviews, make your money, and don't read Twitter. I don't know.
And my partner is freaking out because she's involved. She's a part of the whole equation. And I start trying to, say things to fix it. And when I try to help, it basically results in her screaming and crying that things are getting worse and that it's all my fault.
Just these eye movements that he's making, he's trying to stay awake. I don't know if this is lack of sleep or if he's on some sort of stimulant or something. He genuinely looks like he's tweaking the fuck out, especially compared to the second video that he posted after this. It's just really fucking concerning. He talks about Tia, his fiance that he was dating at the time, boiling her down to just someone who he was paying $5,000 a month to sleep on his couch and smoke weed all day.
I'm paying her a ridiculous amount of money, $5,000 $5,000 a month to basically do nothing. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't have a problem with that. Like paying her $5,000 a month so she could, lay around, smoke weed on the couch, and be happy. Great, But
again, he was paying her $5,000 a month to sit on his couch, but he still needed $10,000 to help him move. I don't really understand how that works. Now, and she says that he didn't respect him, kind of giving a reason as to why his actions that he later explains are that he's allowed to do that. I guess I don't know.
I don't think that she really respected me. I don't think she saw things in me that were like important for her to see. So
there's nothing for her to respect. What the fuck? What qualities do you have as a man or like as a father, a future father or anything? I don't understand. She doesn't respect me because I crash out every time someone's mean to me on the fucking internet.
It went really bad. Like, as soon as the picture was posted, it became me panicking, trying to fix it, and her basically getting angry at me trying to fix it.
How did you try and fix it? What are you talking about? You didn't do anything. You literally complained that no matter what you did, everyone was still mad at you because that's what happens when you try to appease everybody. Now, he explains that one of the main reasons that they broke up and aren't together anymore is because she recorded him yelling at her through a door because he was mad and, quote, trying to figure things out.
That everything reached an apex when she recorded me in my house yelling at her through the door. I was fucking pissed. I was just like mad because I'm trying to fucking figure everything out in like an impossible situation.
You can see his brain try to explain and understand why she was upset and why she was scared, understand her point of view, maybe be a little sympathetic, a little empathetic, and then immediately switches back to well, because I was trying to fix things actually, you dumb bitch. You stupid bitch, I was trying to fix things.
Trying to get things back to normal so that we can live a normal fucking life. And
the way he describes it is almost like it's not his fault. Like he didn't do anything. Things just happened, and he was just this innocent victim in the entire thing. After him going gorilla mode and crashing out on her, she sent this to his parents, her parents, and according to him, sent it to Hivemind, which she later denies, but whatever.
Hazed me by recording me in my house without my knowledge. She sends it to my parents. She sends it to friends. She sends it to people who are associated with Hivemind. Yeah, and it's the biggest betrayal I've ever felt.
I don't know, I think the biggest betrayal she ever felt was probably you domestically abusing her enough to the point where the cops have to be called. That's maybe I would think maybe that's the biggest betrayal for her, especially the way he describes it, the way he tries to emphasize by recording me in my house without my knowledge. She says it to my parents. If you're this zoned out and not even really comprehending what's going on in reality, I'd be scared for my life too. Jesus fucking Christ.
I really I felt so violated, but she couldn't hear that because she looked up that it was legal to do that, to record me in that state. And because it was legal, it was moral to do that.
Are we just gonna gloss over the fact that you entrapped her in her room and were screaming through a door again so hard that she had to call the police because she felt her life was in that much of danger?
At that point I was done with her. At that point I was this is fucked up.
Yeah, kick that bitch to the curb. Yeah, kick that dumb bitch to the curb. How dare she have an issue with you destroying your entire livelihood because you can't take criticism online? Jesus fucking Christ. This literally feels like a conversation that your middle-aged coworker has with you, explaining why his girlfriend kicked him out, who's 20 years younger than him, and you just have to sit there and nod even though everything he's saying just sounds so fucking psychotic. You can't believe that someone's even in a relationship like that.
I'm doing everything I can in this situation to make things work. I love you, but we're not going to be a good match.
Then he talks about the I don't feel safe in my own home stream, the clip that we talked about earlier. Again, where he just kind of abruptly ends stream after saying, I don't feel safe in my own home.
I under no circumstance can listen to this album right now because I am not safe in my own home. And I really can't describe much else.
He says this happened because she was on the couch screaming and crying while he was streaming and told her to be quiet. He can't have screaming and crying in the background, and to go to her mom's house because, again, he's working.
I believe maybe a week later, I was streaming when I remember I was doing a stream and then I left. I go to the kitchen. I see her sitting on the couch screaming and crying, and I'm pissed off.
I see my fiance in emotional distress, and that fucking pisses me off, dude. Can you believe that, bitch?
Because I'm trying to focus, get work done.
Yeah, we're trying to focus, trying to get work done. I'm trying to e-bag over here, and my dumb bitch fiance is sitting over here crying on the fucking couch while I'm trying to work. Oh my God, dude.
And it felt like she was interrupting that. Now, here's the thing. I want you to understand out of all of this, and remember how I said that it was all like, you know, it wasn't just this scenario happening, that this was like a long-term effect? Well, I was so obsessed with my work. I became like completely locked into that to the point of where she has told me that she felt completely invisible in the relationship. Yeah, my response to her crying was screaming at her.
It is like, I am like playing LA Noire on max difficulty right now because I cannot even comprehend what emotion he is displaying right now. He is confused as to why this situation happened, but he's justifying his emotions in the situation. But at the same time, he's upset at her reaction. He's understanding all of the elements, but not really understanding the outcome, and is upset by that. I think, I don't know.
Which was bad, but my justification was, I am streaming right now. I can't have you like screaming and crying like in the house.
Instead of doing that, like that's a justifiable instead of doing that, like that's a justifiable thing to ask of someone.
I told her to go basically stay with her mother, who lived like 5 minutes away. Instead of doing that, she...
Like, why aren't you just go to your mom's house? Why aren't you going to your mom's house? You're pissing me off. I'm trying to work here. Go to your mom's house. Like, can you believe she didn't do it?
I'm like doing this thing where I'm like, you need to go to your mom's house. She's like, you know, fuck you, this is my house too.
I'm doing this thing as if he's not like screaming at her at the top of his lungs. I'm just doing this thing where I'm telling her to get the fuck out of the house.
And I'm like, I pay all the bills. This is all important. This is all important.
This is important. This is important. And then like, you know, she's like crying and sitting there and I'm looking at her and I'm yelling at her and I'm saying, I pay all the bills. Fuck you. I hate you.
I pay the bills for this entire place. You know, like I'm keeping it up. You don't contribute shit to the equation. Get out. I'm paying her a ridiculous amount of money, like $5,000 a month. To basically do nothing. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't have a problem with that.
Even though he admits to it, he still kind of tries to justify it with these reasonings of her not paying for anything and secretly recording him. He explains that literally directly after the I don't feel safe in my own home clip, he was immediately arrested and placed in jail for a few days because of the domestic violence charge.
She calls the cops on me and they have me arrested for domestic violence. That is really where the story all starts. You know, I'm in a jail cell. This was like, literally, there's like a clip of me that's like me talking about how I don't feel safe in my home, and then like an hour later, I'm in jail. You know? It's crazy. And I don't want to fucking say any of this. I don't want to talk about this. It makes me look bad.
Okay, great. So we're going to stop the video here, right? There's not going to be like more of the video.
But I'm also now realizing that I don't really care.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what happened. Those are, you know, that's what I did. These are the choices I made. Anyways, yeah, so once that happens, the relationship is over. I'm just like...
The relationship is over. Not she leaves me because I'm crazy. It's the relationship is over. I don't know why you're explaining this on the internet. There is no reason to explain this. No one even accused you of domestic abuse except for Rose in a deleted video that people didn't see because it had like 1,000 views on it. No one was talking about it. You're the first person to bring up the domestic abuse allegations at all, or even the charges. Even your ex, you know, who was the main victim of all this abuse, never talked about it because she didn't want to like start anything with you. She just wanted to make sure you were safe and fine despite you abusing her, allegedly. I mean, not even allegedly anymore. You even admitted to it. And he explains after that entire situation, he goes back home and goes to rehab. He doesn't really seem to care all that much outside of the domestic abuse charge and everything. The thing that he does care about, though, is losing his connection to Hivemind. That's the kind of main focus of the entire thing. What he really cares about is losing his connection to these people on the internet, these random fucking people.
Because it's one thing like losing your partner. It's another thing like with losing Hivemind.
It's one thing losing your fiance, the woman you plan to marry. It's one thing also losing this channel that you have connections to.
Like, the fact that like these two things were so connected.
And he also says that he almost killed himself over the whole situation, in which he then turns around, goes into his drawer, pulls out a bottle of vodka that's also right next to his actual medication that he just leaves out. Again, I do feel slightly bad because he's clearly going through a lot of stuff, but he's also kind of just a shitty person. Again, trying to downplay a domestic violence charge to she just wasn't doing anything and she was annoying me. He says that the bottle of vodka luckily is still full because he was planning a while ago, a couple of months ago, to actually kill himself with his entire bottle of vodka and his pills.
I almost killed myself over it. Like, I had this and I had pills. However, good news is this happened 3 months ago and there's this much alcohol in the bottle. That means something went well. I mean, something's going right.
Is he? He's like suicide. He's like post not going through with suicide baiting. I don't like. This is the weirdest video I've ever seen. Again, I'm happy he didn't hurt himself, but I don't really care, especially with everything you've told me so far. I'm sure you are sad, but I mean, to be fair, you did kind of deserve it.
Let's talk about Hivemind. Hivemind is a collective of guys who I very much respect. But Riley's a diva and Graydon's a brute. Here's the thing though. that just makes me like them more because they're very human. In fact, I think that like their flaws are the things that really, attracted me to them. What really made me like interested in them as people. What made me connect with them on like a much deeper level. So, the fact that like my ex moves to Detroit, like around all these like Hivemind people, and then starts like dating Graydon's roommate, and like Riley leaves me on red. And it's just like, wow.
Like, you're conflating your fiance of 5 years fucking some dude's roommate that you know, and some other person leaving you on red to the same thing to where you make this face.
I really love the people at Hivemind still. Like, in case you don't know who Hivemind is, I collaborated with them. They're like a pretty big channel, but just, they did to me what they did to Nick is Not Green.
What do you mean? Nick is Not Green is not a good person. What the fuck?
When I was there and they were telling me the story, Nick is Not Green, great friends, he has, his thing that happens, and bye-bye Nick is Not Green, no longer associated with the name. Now, of course, at the time, I'm just thinking like, oh, thank God I'm on the right side, of this shit.
You were comparing that exact situation to you getting charged with domestic abuse charges with video evidence and everything.
But then I ended up on the other side of things. And I actually, I would say became friends with Nick is Not Green, but I honestly I think he sent me a message like 5 months ago that I never checked. So even then, like, not doing great with that, but like, I got to see that perspective. I got to see both sides. And in my opinion, I don't give a shit. Whatever. Moving on.
And then pulls up this picture of a bee being carried by an ant and explaining that this is a symbolic of him overcoming everything. He never really further explains this at all. He just says this. It's really, I don't know. This video is really fucking crazy.
Let's talk about where things start getting good. Look at this picture right here, okay? Now, I'm going to explain this picture later, but this is a bee being, that's dead. It's being carried by an ant. All right? I saw this with my own 2 eyes in nature, a bee being carried by an ant down a line. All right? Like that was, that's some life-changing stuff. It's weird. It's like, it's really symbolic to me. But, maybe it's like, maybe I feel like it's a symbol of me somehow overcoming, a lot of stuff that's been going on. It starts with 4 months ago when I decided to stop streaming and stop working. It basically came down to, I can't do this anymore. I can't fucking do it anymore. Like, something is wrong, So, I'm like, I don't really know what is wrong.
And then explains that his cousin came to take him upstate where he would live with his parents. And that was another reason, kind of adding as to why he wanted to end his own life and he also explains that he doesn't want to work. Which again, working for him is staring at a camera like I'm doing now and giving his opinion on music. I wouldn't really constitute that as work all that much. You're just doing a hobby that you somehow turn into a actual career. And instead of doing that, you just don't want to do anything. He explains that he just wants to watch movies all the time.
Feel like I shouldn't stream. So instead I start watching movies. And I kind of come to the idea that, like, I don't really know if I should work because I really don't want to. So I just kind of keep sitting around all day watching movies. And then it's...
Well, I'm glad that you are like one of the only few people on this planet that can just, sit around and watch movies all day because you don't feel like working. Most of us have to work or else we'll be fucking homeless. But, I feel bad for you, I guess.
Like, stuff with my ex, and then, like, with Hivemind, and how that's all connected. I can't get it out of my head. I fucking can't. It's like no matter what I do, that's like my ex leaving to go and like be a part of Hivemind and fuck Graydon's roommate, Like, yeah, well, I wasn't taking it so well. So,
Really? You weren't taking it so well?
Just thinking every day how I was going to kill myself and then eventually came up with drinking and pills.
I'm glad you didn't, but again, why are you telling me this?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I had to move back in with my parents. That was another big reason I wanted to kill myself. I went from like big shot to, back to the place where I thought I was running from, where I thought that it was like, this is where all the problems were. My cousin invites me to go to Switzerland and Egypt with him. Time comes, I leave the country. Switzerland is absolutely gorgeous. Being around people who don't speak the same language as you is really nice because like...
You wanted to kill yourself because you had a safety net of your parents to allow you to not work and go on travels with your cousin around the world to better your mental health, something that literally almost nobody on this fucking planet has? Okay, sure, dude. I still feel bad for you. And then explains that like literally a week ago that he didn't have a good connection with his dad. Again, I don't know why you're telling people this. There's no reason to tell people that you don't have a good relationship with your dad online.
Remember how I said I never really had that real connection with my dad? I now have a real relationship with my dad.
He says that although he didn't have a good connection with his dad, more recently, him and his dad took a trip up to the mountains where they played instruments in nature and he felt super grounded. And his dad, who now he considers a musical genius, actually have a good relationship. So, I mean, there's a good ending in there, but you could have just said that, me and my dad took a trip and really bonded over over a period of time, and, you know, we actually made music together and it was really cool. But instead you decided to trauma dump about not having a good relationship with your father for some reason. I don't know why the fuck you would do that. It's just really, really sad.
It's exact bench. We would, you know, in the trunk of my car, we had like tribal drums and a gong, you know, different sticks to hit things with. And I was making music in nature with my dad, you know, and just like connecting and like improvising. And it was great. Like, it was good shit. Like, I discovered, like, you know, through this time with my dad, that he is, I'm just going to say it, like a musical genius.
He still says that he doesn't care enough to work, which is great. I mean, if I didn't care enough to work, I would be homeless, but, you know, that's cool, and my car would be repoed.
Looks like I'm supposed to be going back to work, but I'm going to be honest, I might not even go to work. I don't even think I care enough, to be honest.
But I'm glad that you could just live with your parents and do whatever you want, just because, you know, you don't feel good for a little bit. He does say that he does feel bad about people who donated and, you know, gave him a lot of money and showed him support, but in return got nothing because they didn't get anything, and so they got a video telling him to fuck off.
There are many members of the community who've given a lot to this channel who have received absolutely nothing in return, not even like acknowledgement from me, you know, in a way that's cold, in a way that they recognize that they feel and they feel betrayed with. I've lost 2 Discords, okay? I've lost 2, not 1. 2 Discords to mutiny. All right, so clearly I'm not doing something right. I'm aware of that. However, all I can do is try my best moving forward. And
he did upload a second video kind of explaining that first video, just a terrible fucking video that he never should have uploaded, which is correct. I don't know why you would do that. It looks like he did actually clean up his room a little bit more here. He does look a little bit healthier, as healthy as a person in this situation could be. But he does explain again after deleting that video that that video was terrible in this second video titled number 2, or just 2 period. Apologizing for the entire situation. Again, even acknowledging the fact that he boiled down the abuse situation to her being annoying and crying on the couch.
Hi, so I released a video a few days ago, and it was something that was called SI, and it was supposed to be talking about my experience with, you know, battling through all this mental health shit for the last year, and it was a fucking terrible idea. The video ended up being extremely exploitative of my ex because I decided to, you know, I was like, oh, so it's my ex-girlfriend, but like, you know, she's a real person and there are real people being named in this video. And so the entire thing, you know, comes off as an extreme violation of privacy. And I can completely understand why people are upset because it is honestly, I think, one of the worst things possibly ever uploaded to the internet. I am fucking ashamed of it. I feel like I failed completely, like, as a person. And like, this video just highlights also like all of her concerns, you know, where she's saying that she's felt this pain, you know, that she recognizes this exploitation and this feeling of being unsafe around someone like me with a platform. So I'm going to disappear for a year and see around this time next year if I'm ready to try again, because I'm clearly not ready for this, and I am rightfully being called out for honestly just terrible behavior, extremely irresponsible behavior. And I'd like to give just I would like to just say sorry, like, from the bottom of my heart, from everyone who supports me. It is just like, I'm fucking sorry. Like, this was disgusting. There's not a single fucking justification I have for this. This is the worst thing I've ever done on YouTube, and it will be like seen as that, and it should. And I hope that my ex is able to disconnect herself from this situation and move on and get help and support like she has been in the last few days, or at least like in terms of the support. But no, like, again, I brought this shit back up, and it makes perfect sense why she's so upset and so hurt. But it, like, even then, it took me a couple of days for it to all click, because I was like, oh, you know, what's so wrong with this video? You know, I'm just talking about my own experience, but that's just the thing. It was all about me. It was selfish, and it turned into a complete disaster. And yeah, that's all I have to say, is that I'm going away for a year, and that that's like probably the minimum for something this, like, that's this big of a fuck up. So I'm sorry. Like, I let everybody down, you know, like, yeah. So peace.
Which I would say is commendable and great. However, he has now, after 1 day of uploading this video, just delisted it. So he's pretty much essentially, with his actions, taken everything that he just said back because he doesn't want to make that public. Which, again, if you could just keep this video up and explain to everybody how shitty of a person you have been, regardless of your mental health issues, that'd be fine. But you're not. You deleted it because you didn't want anyone to hear about it. I don't understand the thought process behind any of these videos. Someone needs to please take the phone away from him, take the camera away from him. Don't give him a computer. He needs to just live with his family and be a normal person. Clearly, you don't have what it takes to be a public influencer or have a public facing job, which is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, again, clearly, look at you before you started this and after. You really need help, dog, and uploading videos like this is clearly not helping. Yesterday, he posted a tweet on Twitter I'm sifting through the many notes, audio recordings, and screenshots I have dating back to 2019. I'm not sure how much I want to share, if any. Please understand I spent 5 years with this person, and he was paying me to work with/for him for less than 2 years of that. I do not want him to hurt himself. I do not want him to get in legal trouble. I have been silent for the past year because I wanted to see him get better, and I desperately wanted to move forward with my life after spending half of my 20s being abused. It's clear that he still wants to punish me for the consequences of his own actions. This is not a new thing for me, as he did this throughout the entire length of our relationship. After almost 6 years of trying my hardest to protect him despite the abuse, I just don't have it in me anymore. I am not a public person. I never have been. I'm trying to handle things in the best way I can. Right now, I just need time to figure out what the best way to move forward is. I don't have anything compiled or prepared because revisiting this is incredibly triggering. Thanks to everyone who reached out with words of support. I have no doubts what I went through, as I have undeniable evidence of it, and I have discussed it extensively in therapy and with close friends. I don't really need strangers to believe me. I am in a much better spot in life right now, surrounded by wonderful people who do not mistreat me. At this point, I am more interested in spreading awareness and validating the experiences of people who have gone through similar things without the support that I'm so lucky to have. If anyone reading this can relate to anything that's been discussed or shared so far, please know you're not alone. There is a way out. Even if it feels impossible right now, reach out to a friend or call the DV hotline 800-799-7233 and get yourself safe. So obviously she's alleging, crazy abuse, which again, Brad pretty much admits to in the video that he deleted. And yeah, that's the entire situation right now. I'm sure Tina will come out eventually with more evidence regarding the abuse that she endured with Brad Tasted Music, but it is just really sad seeing someone completely, just deteriorate like this, especially with the sizable audience he had. He was making good money, 400,000 subscribers, just reviewing music, doing one of his favorite things on the internet. But because he was unable to handle any sort of criticism, even valid criticism outside of the people just making fun of him, he just wasn't able to handle it at all, clearly. I mean, it's insane. Again, he blames a lot of this on his weed addiction and video game addiction. That's not why. You clearly had mental health issues before this, and it's not fair to blame all of the abuse you put on your ex. Again, self-admittedly, by the way, regardless if you think that yelling through a door and having enough to where the cops are being called on you and abandoning your relationship like that, I don't think weed and video games do that to you. I'm sorry. I don't know. Again, I do hope that Brad does get help, but it's clear that rather than wanting really to take accountability for anything, he'd rather just kind of throw everything under the rug and forget about it. I don't have any other words. Obviously, there will probably be more to this story later on. We'll probably make a follow-up video on this, but that's the entire Brad Tay situation. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you think I should start reviewing music and smoking weed all day. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. Share this video with your grandma and send me video evidence, and I'll give you a follow on Twitter. Anyway, I love you guys. Goodbye.